Skinny Hardaway 17. Back with another EP. Good morning. Y'all, it's fight week. And not only is it fight week, we got championship fight week. We got Joe Smith Jr. versus Arthur Beterbiev. And this is a title fight at the 175-pound division, which is the light heavyweight division. Between the IBF champion.
Yeah, as a left field.
Between the IBF and WBA champion, between the IBF and the WBC champion, if I'm not mistaken. Arthur Beterbiev, IBF and WBC.
Look.
He's going to face off against the WBO champion and Joe Smith Jr. this Saturday in a unification bout. I think this fight it's going to be a doozy. I think this fight going to be a banger. And a lot of people picking Arthur Beterbiev to win this fight. But, Joe Smith Jr. got his own, following as well. This fight has been, a long time coming between these two guys. Thought this was a fight, I would get earlier. But, we finally got it now. So I ain't going to complain about it. I'm about to bring my camera up in just a second so we can break this down. Y'all do your boy a favor. When y'all roll on in, smash that like button for your boy. And we here for a good time, not a long time with this fight breakdown between Joe Smith and Arthur Beterbiev. Again, hit that like button as y'all roll on in. I'm about to get my camera up in a second so we could do this the right way. You know what I mean? So we could do this shit the right way. Arthur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. this Saturday. Not really sure about the undercards, just yet, but later this week, I'm sure more is going to be announced and more is going to come from that. But right now, not much, on the undercard. This should be an interesting fight, though. We got Power Puncher versus Power Puncher. We got both fighters, who coming off pretty big wins, for their career. Both fighters are coming off a streak of wins, you know what I mean, for their career. Both fighters have been stuck in their winning ways, as of late. So neither of these fighters are coming in here, with the attitude of, a loser. A loser, I should say. What's good, Skills? Appreciate you sliding through this, John Skills. My guy Skills said, night. Who you got in this fight, Skills? I'm about to bring my camera up now. We about to get into the tail of the tape, the fight breakdown and prediction portion, of this video. We do live breakdowns and predictions over here, man. You feel me? Live breakdowns and predictions. We got Joe Smith Jr., 28-3. With 22 knockouts, and he's been stopped one time in his career himself. Interesting fact. I had no idea that Joe Smith Jr. had been stopped in his career, before already. Had no idea. Y'all do your boy a favor, jab that like button when you come in. Joe Smith Jr., 28-3, 22 KOs. One stoppage. He's 32 years old, 6 foot, with a 76 arm reach. He's currently the WBO World Lightweight title holder championship, the light heavyweight champion, WBO light heavyweight champion. His last fight, he fought Steve Jaffrod. He fought Maximum Valso, and he fought Elder Alvarez. You know what I mean? If you looking at this Elder Alvarez name and it look familiar, it's because you probably heard of Elder, Alvarez before. I mean Elder Alvarez before. Not an overly, popular guy, but pretty solid, name to be on your record. This is probably why you remember, Alvarez because he fought Sergey Kovalev back in 2019. That's at least that's how I remember. You know what I mean? But Joe Smith Jr. last four fights he got Jesse Hart before that, and he also had a UD loss to Dmitry Bivol. He also had a UD loss to Dmitry Bivol. Just do boxing. What's good, pimp? Appreciate you sliding through this junk. Appreciate you sliding through this junk. What you mean, AB? You said AB skills. What you mean? Shout out my guy skills. But yeah, that's the quick rundown on Joe Smith Jr. resume. You know what I mean? We got Jafar, we got Valsov, we got Alvarez, we got Jesse Hart, we got Dimitri Bivol. We also got Bernard Hopkins down here as well. Yes, the Bernard Hopkins. You remember correctly. This is the guy that knocked Bernard Hopkins out of the ring. The great Bernard Hopkins. Shout out to great Bernard Hopkins. Had to give him, his shine and his just due. Joe Smith Jr. is facing off against Arthur Beterbiev. Again, Joe Smith Jr. is 28-3 with 22 knockouts. He's facing off against Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, AB Arthur Beterbiev, right? 17-0, 17 KOs. Arthur Beterbiev is currently the WBC and the IBF World Light Heavyweight Title Champion. You know what I mean? So I was correct, on that. Y'all do your boy a favor, hit that like button when you roll on in. He's 37 years old, 5'11 with a 73-inch arm reach. So Joe Smith Jr. has a 3-inch arm reach advantage over Arthur Beterbiev in this fight, which I think, is highly interesting. Arthur Beterbiev last fight, he faced off against Marcus Brown. Before that, it was Albert Denise. Before that, it was Alexander Golfdyke. And before that, it was Radovo Kalajic. Not I almost know absolutely nobody on Arthur Beterbiev's, resume. Literally, like almost nobody. I know his last win and Marcus Brown, but outside of that, y'all, it gets real, murky for me. And Arthur Beterbiev's, former opponent. Just ranking his opponents right now, just from looking at it, I would say shit. Maybe Marcus Brown is his best opponent, that he faced off with. I know this guy was undefeated right here when he faced off against him, so maybe we throw him in there as well. But Marcus Brown, will be his hardest test to date, which was his last fight for the IBF championship. You know what I mean? He stopped Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown took a knee, more so than anything. Y'all do your boy a favor when y'all roll on in. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button. We in here doing this fight breakdown and prediction between Joe Smith Jr., and Arthur Beterbiev. Right now, we going through the resume of Arthur Beterbiev. But yeah, Marcus Brown will be his hardest fight. Today, Marcus Brown is a boxer type, complete opposite style. Of Joe Smith Jr. And then Joe Smith Jr. his last fight, Gerard, is also a boxer type of fighter. What's good, Solit? Y'all do your boy a favor, DWJ. Y'all hit that like button when y'all roll on in for your boy. Hit that like button when y'all rolling. I see y'all rolling in, but y'all not smashing the like button for your boy. Smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. I don't appreciate y'all coming through and not smashing my like button. You know what I mean? Don't appreciate that at all. You feel me? But y'all smash that like button, man. Don't make me ask twice. Drop a super chat, drop a cash app, all that good shit, all that good shit. Liking the video is free. Sharing the video is free. Telling a friend to tell a friend is free. Now, if I can't even get you to do that, at least drop a cash app, drop a super chat, something like that for your boy. Greatly appreciate it. Hit that likes for your boy when you roll on there, man, because that shit is free. Don't take nothing to hit the like for your boy. But yeah, now I'm getting down into the breakdown. Now I'm getting down into the breakdown and prediction portion of this video. Now with Joe Smith Jr., what normally gives Joe Smith Jr. problems? You know what I mean? Let's look at his most recent fights, and this one's the one I want to talk about in particular, this one against Maxim Valisov. You know what I mean? I want to talk about this one. This guy right here gave Joe Smith Jr. Hella problems. The type of fighter who normally give Joe Smith Jr. Problems are guys like this, guys who could box, guys who have reach, and guys who got a little pop in their punches. Arthur Beterbiev, he does have that pop in his punch. You know what I mean? But Arthur Beterbiev's style is a little different, from the style that normally gives Joe Smith Jr. problems. When you look at Joe Smith Jr. losses, you look at Valisov. Now, he beat Valisov, but I watched that fight in particular. You know what I mean? And I kind of think, Valisov I kind of think Joe Smith Jr., had been given a bone in that one because the WBO, loves him so much and they wanted to keep that WBO belt, on their side. Shout out my guy, MP, what the fuck? Appreciate you sliding through. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that like button when you roll on in. I kind of think George Smith got a gift against Valisov, but Valisov, is a pure boxer, and he gave Joe Smith problem. Dmitry Bivol is a pure boxer, and he actually beat Joe Smith, and he gave him, a lot of problems. Sullivan Barrera. Sullivan Barrera is also, a pure boxer, and he beat Joe Smith. You know what I mean? So I'm saying now this to say, normally the people who give Joe Smith his biggest problems, are boxers. Joe Smith Jr. likes to punch. You know what I mean? He's more so a puncher. He can box. He does have a good jab, but he finds his most trouble in a fight when the guy has better boxing ability than him, when the guy can use his jab and his range, on Joe Smith Jr. In this fight, with Arthur Beterbiev, and Arthur Beterbiev is the favorite in this fight. But in this fight with Arthur Beterbiev doesn't have the reach or the height advantage over Joe Smith Jr. And also, Arthur Beterbiev, historically isn't the type of fighter who gives Joe Smith Jr., a test. Historically with Joe Smith Jr., this type of fighter that Arthur Beterbiev is, Joe Smith Jr. actually stops fighters like Arthur Beterbiev, brawlers and kung fu fighters. More times than not, Joe Smith Jr. stopped guys like, style fighters like Arthur Beterbiev. In this fight, Arthur Beterbiev, he's not just, a stalker power puncher. He does possess, some boxing ability. He does possess some foot movement. My question in this fight, if Arthur Beterbiev, uses his foot movement, you know what I mean, and he uses his jab to get inside on Joe Smith, this could be an easy night, for Arthur Beterbiev, after he get inside of Joe Smith. Joe Smith has a 3-inch reach advantage. Joe Smith does like to use his jab, you know what I mean? But more so than that jab, Joe Smith is trying to hit you with that straight. If Arthur Beterbiev can avoid that straight and get in on the inside of Joe Smith, it's going to be, an easy night. But if Joe Smith, could stand at a distance, or if Joe Smith could stand where he want to stand, not necessarily boxing, because Joe Smith isn't a boxer, himself, but he does need that space, to get his to be the most effective, to get his punches off. He does need that space. If Beterbiev can't get on the inside, if he can't get around that right straight of Joe Smith Jr., I could very well see, Joe Smith Jr. getting a flush knockout of Arthur Beterbiev. And if Arthur Beterbiev is able to get inside on Joe Smith, I can see Arthur Beterbiev TKOing Joe Smith. This fight is going to be a matter of if Arthur Beterbiev, can overwhelm Joe Smith. And it's going to be if Joe Smith can weather the storm of Arthur Beterbiev and return fire on Arthur Beterbiev. Marcus Brown in that fight with Arthur Beterbiev, he did the exact thing that you shouldn't do. He did the exact thing that you shouldn't do with Arthur Beterbiev. You know what I mean? And he stopped firing back. He used his feet. He got on his bike, but he stopped firing back. You know what I mean? With a guy like Arthur Beterbiev, you can't stick your hands in your pocket because you would never win a fight like that against a guy like Arthur Beterbiev. But Joe Smith Jr. provides something that Arthur Beterbiev hasn't had to deal with in his last, couple fights. Joe Smith Jr. has probably equal power to Arthur Beterbiev. When we talking about, one punch power type deal, Joe Smith Jr. probably has equal power to Arthur Beterbiev, which is going to be a little change of pace for Arthur Beterbiev. You know what I mean? Uh, Joe Smith Jr. has been stopped before. I didn't know that person. I just looked at it. It was early in his career. He got stopped in the fourth round. It was inside of his 10th fight. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna throw that one away. Joe Smith Jr. hasn't been stopped since he's found his stride. Joe Smith Jr. is 32. Arthur Beterbiev is 37. Joe Smith Jr. has a 3-inch arm reach on Arthur Beterbiev. The thing with Joe Smith Jr. in this fight, the only reason I'm getting to my prediction stage, the only reason that I'm not going to pick Joe Smith Jr. in this, yes, I'm picking Arthur Beterbiev in this fight, but the only reason that I'm not picking Joe Smith Jr. is because of Joe Smith Jr. gas tank, and he kind of fades towards the end of the round. Where Arthur Beterbiev more so turns it up at the end of the rounds. You know what I mean? So if Joe Smith win, it's going to be an early knockout. But as the fight progresses and goes longer, I give the advantage to Arthur Beterbiev. In this fight, I'm going to take Arthur Beterbiev by TKO stoppage, by late TKO stoppage. I think it's going to be more so of a gas tank stoppage than him actually hurting Joe Smith to the core. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be a late TKO stoppage. I got Arthur Beterbiev 10th round TKO stoppage over Joe Smith Jr. in the fight this Saturday. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button. Y'all tell me who y'all got. You know what I mean, for the fight this weekend. Let me say what's up to the people that came through. Shout out my guy Skills from New Orleans. Shout out my guy Just Do Boxing. Shout out my guy DWJ. Appreciate you sliding through. Shout out my guy So Lee. Appreciate you sliding through this joint, So Lee. Shout out my guy MP What the Fuck. What's good, my brother? Shout out my guy Knockout 86 TV. Appreciate Knockout Boxing 86 TV. Appreciate you sliding through this joint, Knockout. Bruce Gas. What's good, pimp? Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy Bruce Gas. Appreciate you sliding through this joint. Y'all do your boy a favor. If you're in here and you haven't yet, hit that like button for your boy. But that's all I got. Joe Smith Jr. with the TKO. I say Joe Smith Jr. Arthur Beterbiev with the TKO stoppage late over Joe Smith Jr. 10th round stoppage. That's how I see it. I could see I really do see many ways that Joe Smith Jr. I see many um outcomes where Joe Smith Jr. does win this fight, but I'm strictly picking Arthur Beterbiev based on Joe Smith Jr.'s gas tank. He kind of windows down towards the end of the fight, where Arthur Beterbiev turns it up. So that's why I went with Arthur Beterbiev with the late TKO stoppage. But that's all I got. Skin the heart away, Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But this the